It starts so simply. A friend asks for a favor, your calendar is packed, but you say, "Of course." Maybe it's a small thing, or maybe it's something that will take hours out of your week. You tell yourself it's just this once, that you'll find the time somehow. You agree to host a dinner you're too tired for, lend money you can't spare, or listen to a draining conversation. You keep showing up, even when your energy is running on empty, because you don't want to let anyone down. Each yes feels small, a kindness. We want to be helpful, reliable, the person everyone counts on. We crave connection and approval, and saying yes feels like the easiest way to keep the peace. But these yeses stack up, forming a heavy, invisible weight. The more you say yes, the more is asked of you, and the harder it becomes to say no. The constant giving without checking in with ourselves takes a toll. We start to feel stretched thin, like we're losing pieces of ourselves with every promise we make. Resentment grows, energy fades, and joy dims. We feel exhausted and unappreciated. The things that once brought us happiness now feel like chores. We wonder, why does being so good to everyone else feel so bad for us? We question our own needs and sometimes even our worth. This is the quiet crisis of a life without boundaries. It's a loneliness that creeps in, even when we're surrounded by people. It's not a personal failing. It's a sign you've given away too much of your power. You've forgotten that your needs matter just as much as anyone else's. We're taught that saying no is selfish, so we silence the part of us that says, "I can't." We ignore the voice that pleads for rest, for space, for time to breathe. We lose touch with our own limits and desires. Our sense of self blurs, and we forget what truly matters to us. When we say yes to what drains us, we say no to what fills us. Rest, hobbies, time with loved ones. We trade our joy for obligation and our peace for approval. The pain isn't about others. It's about abandoning our own needs. It's about forgetting to care for ourselves in the rush to care for everyone else. Recognizing this pattern is the first, most courageous step toward reclaiming your life. It's the moment you realize you deserve the same kindness you give so freely to others. So, what are boundaries? It's a word we hear often, but what does it truly mean in our everyday lives? Boundaries aren't walls or acts of selfishness, and they're not about shutting people out. Instead, think of them as a compass for your soul. Clear, gentle lines that show what's okay for you and what's not. They help you navigate relationships and situations with clarity and confidence. Boundaries protect our time, energy, emotions, and values. They quietly say, "This is where I end, and you begin." They help us honor our needs, even when it feels uncomfortable. Without boundaries, we can lose ourselves in others' needs and demands, feeling drained or resentful. Boundaries give us direction, helping us know what we're responsible for and what we're not. They're like signposts, guiding us back to ourselves. We're responsible for our own happiness and choices, not for others. When we set boundaries, we reclaim our power to choose what's right for us moment by moment. With healthy boundaries, we show up as our authentic selves, giving from abundance, not depletion. We can be present, generous, and real because we're not running on empty. A boundary isn't always a hard no. Sometimes it's, "I can't do that, but I can do this," or "I need time to think." Boundaries can be flexible, adapting to our needs and the situation. It's about honoring our capacity so we can engage with strength and integrity. When we listen to ourselves, we act from a place of self-awareness and respect. Boundaries are acts of self-love and self-respect. They support a wholehearted life, one of courage, compassion, and connection. They remind us that we matter too. They let us connect deeply, from truth, not performance. When we honor our boundaries, we invite others to do the same. Boundaries aren't barriers to connection, they're the foundation for it. They create the safety and trust we need to build real, lasting relationships. The biggest myth about boundaries? That they're selfish. We fear setting limits will push people away or make us seem uncaring. But the truth is, boundaries are bridges, not walls. They create safety and trust in relationships. When you know where you stand with someone, you can relax and be yourself. Healthy boundaries provide clarity. Everyone knows what to expect. When a friend says, "I'd love to see you, but I'm drained. Can we keep it to an hour?" They're inviting honesty, not pushing you away. Without boundaries, relationships breed assumptions and resentment. By stating our limits, we replace guesswork with clarity and build trust. The most compassionate people are also the most boundaried. They give from fullness, not obligation. Their yes is genuine, their generosity real. You can't pour from an empty cup. By honoring your limits, you have more love and energy to offer. Boundaries aren't selfish. They're essential for wholehearted living. They make true connection possible. Let's talk about Sarah and Maria, friends as close as sisters. They shared everything, joys, struggles, and late-night phone calls. Their bond was strong, but sometimes even the closest friendships can be tested by unspoken expectations. Sarah always dropped everything for Maria's crises, but it left her exhausted and resentful. She felt torn between being a good friend and taking care of herself, and the weight of always saying yes began to take its toll. One day, Maria needed a ride, but Sarah was swamped with work. Her deadlines were looming, and she knew she couldn't keep sacrificing her own needs. Instead of saying yes, Sarah took a breath and said, "I can't leave work, but I'll help you find a car service and call you tonight." It was a new approach, honest but caring. Maria was surprised, but accepted. She realized Sarah's support didn't have to mean sacrificing everything. That evening, their conversation was calmer, more balanced. There was a new sense of understanding between them, and both felt lighter. Sarah was present because she'd honored her own needs. She felt proud for respecting her limits, and it showed in her energy. This small act of setting a boundary became a turning point. It was a lesson in self-respect and mutual care. Their friendship grew stronger, shifting from dependency to mutual respect. They learned to support each other without losing themselves. Maria started asking, "Is now a good time to talk?" and became more self-reliant. She discovered her own strength, and Sarah felt more appreciated. Sarah's compassionate no didn't create distance. It opened the door to a more authentic connection. Their trust deepened, and their friendship felt more genuine. Boundaries didn't end their friendship. They saved it. Both women felt grateful for the honesty and care they now shared. Saying no with empathy is an act of love for yourself and others. It's not rejection, it's honesty, and it's the foundation of trust. That's how real, sustainable relationships are built, on respect, understanding, and the courage to be true to ourselves and each other. Lack of boundaries rarely shows up dramatically. It's a slow erosion of self. You feel responsible for others' emotions, apologizing for things that aren't your fault. Saying no brings guilt, so you make excuses or say yes and resent it. Feeling drained after time with certain people? That's a sign. If your schedule is dictated by others with no time for yourself, your boundaries have dissolved. You might not even know what you enjoy anymore. Recognizing these signs isn't about blame. It's about gentle awareness. It's the first step to calling yourself back home. Family is where boundaries are most tested and most needed. Setting a boundary with a parent or sibling can feel risky, like rejecting love. We endure intrusive questions or criticism to keep the peace, but it costs us authenticity. Imagine a holiday dinner. A relative brings up a sensitive topic. Instead of arguing or staying silent, you calmly say, "I appreciate your concern, but I'm not discussing that tonight." If they persist, you can excuse yourself. "I'm not comfortable talking about this. I'll help in the kitchen." You're not punishing, you're preserving yourself. This is brave work. The first time is hard, but you're planting a seed. Over time, family learns your limits. Some may resist, but those who love you will adjust. Setting boundaries doesn't destroy connection, it makes it real. You show up as your whole self, not a diminished version. It's love for them and for yourself. That's how family relationships grow healthier. The workplace constantly tests our boundaries. The pressure to always be available leads to burnout and drains our passion. Protecting your energy at work isn't a luxury, it's essential. Set clear work hours and communicate them. Don't answer emails after hours unless it's urgent. Learn to say no to extra tasks when your plate is full. Try, "I'd be happy to help. Which priority should I shift to make room?" This shows engagement and protects your capacity. Boundaries at work prevent burnout and keep your passion alive. It's a commitment to your best self in your career. Knowing boundaries matter is one thing, setting them is another. Start by identifying what drains you. Where do you need more rest or space? Once you know your limit, communicate it simply and kindly. "I can't make it" is a complete sentence. Use I statements. "I feel overwhelmed, so I need to pass on this." Expect some pushback. People may be surprised or disappointed. Your job isn't to manage their reaction, but to hold your boundary. Stay calm and repeat if needed. Start small. Don't answer a non-urgent text right away, or decline one invitation. Each time you hold a boundary, you build confidence. Celebrate small wins. Over time, it gets easier and more natural. You'll feel more freedom and self-respect. It's a journey, not a destination. Every step is an act of bravery. Embracing boundaries isn't about a perfect life. It's about an honest one. It's the courage to show up as you are and ask for respect. Boundaries are daily proof that you're worthy of rest, respect, and a life that feels good inside. When you stop people-pleasing, you attract relationships built on truth. The right people will honor your limits. Others may fall away, and that's okay. Boundaries free up energy for your passions and joy. You become more present, creative, and compassionate. Your no makes your yes more powerful. Setting boundaries is a revolutionary act of self-love. It's the path to your most authentic, empowered self.